Hello everyone, my name is Kaylin and I'm the Director of Research and Written Expression here at Water and I'm so excited to be here today with Jesse Endert, who is going to be telling us a little bit more about her work with water and how it pertains to tribal communities.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Kaylin. Hi everyone, my name is Jesse Endert. I am an environmental specialist with a tribe here in Southeast Alaska. I have 2.5 years experience working with Southeast Alaskan tribes. And I actually am not from Alaska, I'm from Michigan. And so you can say that water runs through my veins almost. I pretty much grew up on a lake and water really means a lot to me. And so I'm very excited to be here and to talk about water with you guys.
Wonderful. I think we would all love to hear a little bit more about the specific programs that you're working on as the environmental specialist for this tribe.
Yeah, sure, of course. I do so much. I wear so many hats for this tribe.
She does.
Related to water, some of my favorite programs are probably paralytic shellfish poisoning and harmful algal blooms. They are related. And we also do a lot of work with ocean acidification and testing and monitoring those levels and pH levels. And we also do fecal bacteria testing for coastal waters.
That all sounds super interesting and super important to have data on that. And so I would love to hear a little bit more about the paralytic shellfish poisoning. That sounds super interesting.
Of course, I could talk about paralytic shellfish poisoning for hours. So for those of you that don't know, paralytic shellfish poisoning is actually a neurotoxin that phytoplankton, produce is the word I'm looking for. And shellfish will actually accumulate these toxins within their muscles, and that makes shellfish harmful for humans to eat. And here in Southeast Alaska, or really all of Alaska, Alaska is a huge coastline, and sometimes we can have some food scarce communities, and so people really rely on their natural resources like shellfish. And so if shellfish contain a lot of this neurotoxin and if they're unsafe to eat, people are eating them, they can get really sick and some actually die from it. There's no cure for paralytic shellfish toxins. And so the work that we do really looks at, monitoring those levels and giving people the information they need to make harvesting decisions and informed harvesting decisions, really.
But it all sounds super interesting. Paralytic shellfish poisoning is, of course, a super important topic to be discussing. But I'd love to hear in general with the field work that you're doing. You are in Alaska. I'd love to hear about any particular challenges you face with conducting that work.
Oh yeah, we definitely experience some challenges here. For those of you that are watching this, if you do field work and it's not in Alaska, let me tell you, it is a whole different ball field here. Especially coming from Michigan, there's things we do here that I'm just like, what is this? So quite often we have to work with the tides, and what that means is going out at 2 in the morning sometimes we go out at 8 p.m. Really, it's just whenever low tide is, so we can do our sampling and have it be the most effective, work of our time, and then also just getting good quality samples. And sometimes that means that we have to actually put on these bad boys here, these headlamps. Let me put this on. And we go out and it's pitch black. Sometimes there's no moon because it's so cloudy here. And we have to go out and fight the wolves and the bears. Not really, guys. But we have to go out and for 2 hours, and we're just out there in the dark, and we're picking out shellfish. We're digging up clams. I stopped. Let me tell you, I stopped going in the water. My waders at night. I've tried a couple times, and I almost went under. It's terrifying, especially at night if there's. Even with the glow of my headlamp, I can't see below the water, which would be fine if it wasn't at low tide and I didn't know where I was going. But the topography of these beaches, it's so variant. There's so many different drop-offs, and a lot of times it's really rocky. That's a big thing here too. Let me take this off. Our beaches are very rocky. They're not sandy. We have maybe one beach here that's sandy. And so that's been a real challenge, is learning how to walk on these really slippery algae-covered rocks and not hurting ourselves. And so that requires taking more than one person out for liability purposes. And that can be difficult when, we have staffing issues at the tribes, or sometimes people or volunteers don't want to go out, or, you know, especially at 2 a.m. If you come out with me at 2 a.m, then, you know, good for you. You have a good soul. Those are just a few of the challenges. We also go out whether it's raining or windy or if it's snowing, icy conditions. I'm always out there. When I do my harmful algal bloom monitoring, I put on waders and I'm in the actual ocean up past my hip, more towards, you know, my waist. And it's freezing cold. My legs go numb sometimes, or I'm slipping on rocks. I have studs in my wading boots just to keep me from slipping on ice. There's so many challenges, but don't let that deter you. The work that I do is so fun. I'm out on the beaches at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, and it's really one of my favorite things. Just to be out there and to be in nature and to be able to connect with water. There's no way I've connected with water on more of a personal level than being in waders in the ocean. It's such a life-changing experience. Every time I go out there, whoever I'm with, I'm like, oh, can I just stay out here? Like, you can go back to work. Just tell them that I'm out here with the water. I'm fine.
That is so great to hear. So I think one last question that I think a lot of people may be wondering is that if there's someone out there who is interested in working for a tribe or having a career focused on water, if you had any advice for them on how they can do that.
Definitely. I would say don't feel intimidated. Before even working for a tribe, I had no experience. I graduated from Michigan State University with a degree in international relations. I had no science experience whatsoever. And now here I am 2.5 years later working, you know, for tribes in Southeast Alaska and specifically looking at water quality issues. So I would say just jump in, just do it, aim for it, you know, dream big. You'd be surprised how just one shot in the dark, your dreams could come true. I would say if you want to work for a tribe, you definitely would want to learn their culture. That's crucial. Day one, start pulling out books and asking people around town. Connect with the people in your community as well. That is really important. Once you get those connections, you hear really their own stories and you start to understand traditional ecological knowledge, which without that, I could not be doing my job right now, because there are, you know, tribes in Southeast Alaska and Alaskan natives that have known about paralytic shellfish poisoning for I don't even know how long, forever. And then, you know, Western science comes in and says, oh, here's the actual issue, here's what's going on, this is what's causing it. But Alaskan natives, they knew that forever ago. So really, we're just, you know, supplementing what they already knew. And I would say, you know, learning traditional ecological knowledge and really talking to people in the community that you want to work with and work for, that's with any job. You know, just get to know the people you're working with and working for, and you'll succeed. When it comes to water, like I said, I have no background other than my love for water, and that's what's gotten me this far. Really, let me be honest with you here. I think every job application that I put in to work in Alaska, I talk about how I'm from Michigan, I love the water, I have such a deep connection to it, and because of that, a lot of people that hire me for these positions, they're like, oh, you understand, you connect with water in the same way that we connect with water. And there's a, you know, connection to nature in Alaska that's just unexplainable. And, you know, even if you decide, Alaska's not for me, you turned me off from that, I don't want to go there, but you want to work maybe for a tribe in the lower 48, as we call it, or if you want to work in a water field, you know, maybe some tropical climate, that's awesome too. Go do it. Just, you know, go for it. That's probably my biggest advice I can give, is to just try it out, and if it's meant to work out for you, then, you know, your connection to water will get you there.
Absolutely. Jesse, it's been so amazing to hear about your passion for water and the incredible work that you do to connect communities and empower communities, and I just truly appreciate you joining us today to talk about all of this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was great to be here.